You don't need I'm doing legend. He a 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 legend. Welcome to the league. 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 Welcome to the league. To the league. To the league. To the league. To the league.
Pikel money. Pikel money. Pikel.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and I think today's going to be a relatively quick video as well. I got a few things I need to do. There have been four of the five matches played so far in the LCS. Lpl Lck last night went okay. There are five pretty solid matches. Well, I guess 3 or 4 pretty solid matches tomorrow for Lpl Lck. Before I get into the rest of the video, let's take a look at the results. So V5 beat FPX 2-0. FPX can still qualify for playoffs. EDG beat Rare Atom 2-0. I think they're already in as well. Yeah, they clinched. RNG against Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime is dead. So like it's good for RNG for playoffs. Fredit Brion beat Damwon 2-0, and Fredit Brion made it to playoffs. So I just have had a horrible track record with Fredit Brion in general. I'll need to do something about that going into playoffs. I don't think it'll really matter, but I would at least like to know what I'm missing out on with them. Nongshim beat Homalife 2-0. In the LCS, 100 Thieves beat Immortals. No surprise there. Team Liquid beat CLG. No surprise there. TSM upset Cloud9. And like during the games, I was trying to put together this thing that I got from IKEA. I'm just listening to the TSM C9 game, and I couldn't help but think to myself that in yesterday's video, I was basically ready to pick TSM, and then I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. So, you know, I should have listened to myself. There was a lot of weird stuff on broadcast, and that's one of the reasons why, if you're not doing anything else, I do recommend listening to the broadcast. Not because I think that they have valuable information, but because some of the stuff that they say is just out of control, and it highlights how quickly the public sentiment on teams shifts back and forth, and a lot of that has to do with what the broadcasters are saying, because there are a lot of people out there, not saying that you're one of them, that watches that kind of thing and says, well, oh, if the broadcasters are saying it, it's got to be real. So they just don't really know what they're talking about a lot of the time, and I think that part of it is probably like the writers and producers of these shows want there to be more drama, or they want to push certain storylines and narratives because they think that it'll make it more interesting for the common fan. But it does kind of alienate the fans that like pay more attention, but at the same time it creates the market advantage that we theoretically have. So it doesn't really bother me, I guess, that much. It's just sometimes it just bothers me, like when I have to argue with people about stuff. But that's fine. Evil Geniuses beat Dignitas. So I guess the last thing I would want to say about that, people are like undervaluing Team Liquid now somehow and overvaluing C9, which is just kind of bizarre. But EG beat Dignitas, and then the next game is Golden Guardians against FlyQuest. That's going to happen right now. Let's take a look at the games for tomorrow. So tomorrow we have 3 matches in the LPL, 2 in LCK, 5 in the LCS. First up, BLG against LGD. BLG is locked into playoffs. Right now they're the 8th seed. I do expect them to win this match against LGD. Kui's coming in instead of Shadow, so that's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Shadow go back to a Western team. I think that'd be good for him. And not because I don't think he can play in the LPL, but I think that he would be a solid league average jungler in the LEC or the LCS. Like, there's definitely a lot of players that he's better than, instead of just getting beat up in the LPL. So I expect BLG to win. Doggo's in over Uzi. So that's that. Anyone's Legends against World Elite. World Elite, they've looked good recently, and I'm not very surprised. That's why it's important to have opinions about talent. They lost to Thundertalk Gaming, but they beat RNG 2-0. They beat World Elite 2-1. They've been competitive in a lot of their matches since Beishan came back. So I would definitely feel good betting on them to win at least one of these games. Anyone's Legends is another team that I don't have a good feel for. They just lost to Top Esports. They beat EDG, beat Invictus Gaming, lost to JDG. So I don't think that it's really a good spot for a 2-0 for World Elite, but it could be a very good DraftKings spot playing both sides here. I would favor the World Elite side just because I like World Elite better and I believe in Beishang. And then the last game, this one's very surprising to me. JDG is listed as the favorite. So JDG is a minus 132 favorite, Weibo Gaming plus 100. And Doggo from, Baby Goat. What? Doggo. Baby Goat was talking about how he... And he's a good DraftKings player. Like, I respect his opinion. But I was more surprised from the perspective that, like, Weibo is the higher team on the standings, which generally goes a decent way for making the sportsbook line. But also, they haven't looked bad recently. Like, they've just beat Invictus Gaming convincingly. They lost to Rare Atom, which I would admit that one's not looking good. They lost 2-0 to Top Esports, but Top Esports is a very good team that's undervalued in general by the public right now. So you're getting an undervalued team beating an accurately valued team, or maybe even an overvalued team. So that's going to do a lot to drag down their perception. Yes, they lost to RNG, so 3 losses in their last 5 or 6 matches, but they have a lot of the same quality wins that JDG has. And think about it from my perspective. I love JDG. I love Weibo Gaming. I want both of them to be teams that I can use in the playoffs. And I have bets on both of them to win the championship. So if one of them ends up winning the championship and it's like, oh, Pikel, you said that Weibo was better than JDG or JDG was better than Weibo Gaming, it doesn't really matter in this one match. I'm not betting a large sum of money on this game today. There's just no reason to. I have my futures in there. So, I'm just trying to think about how they can justify setting a line like this, and that's what's surprising to me. That's why I'm surprised. So if recent performance is suggesting that JDG should be the favorite because they've beaten teams like V5 and LNG, you should remember that Weibo Gaming has beaten V5 and LNG as well. They may have not been as convincing as the JDG wins, but still, they accomplished the same thing. And a 2-0 versus a 2-1 weeks after the fact, we might put a little bit too much weight in it. In reality, the only thing that matters is winning, and anybody can win one game in a best of 3. Just look at how many crazy upsets there are in best of 1s. So that's that. I would say go with Weibo Gaming. That's just me personally. When Weibo Gaming is the underdog, we play Weibo Gaming. That is the rule. That is the Suning, aka the Shining, aka the Weibo Gaming rule. I expect Pride of Cucamonga to remind everybody of that in Discord at some point today. Let's go to Korea. T1 against DRX, Kwangdong Freaks against Live Sandbox. I'm playing both of the favorites there. Could DRX beat T1? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen when T1 can lock up a perfect season? No. I would expect T1 to take it home. And T1 actually looked kind of shaky in their match against Sandbox. So I would think that they kind of turn it back around against a team like DRX. And beating them really well tomorrow will help them if they do face each other in playoffs. Just kind of have the mental edge over them. I guess I could see Sandbox getting a game off of Kwangdong Freaks, considering they just beat T1 in one of those games, and they were actually very close in the second match as well. So I would consider that, but I don't think I'm favoring either of those sides. Then in the LCS we have C9 against CLG. I'm on C9. TSM against Immortals. TSM is listed as an underdog right now. I would definitely take advantage of that. They should definitely be a favorite. I should actually bet that right when I stop this video. Evil Geniuses against 100 Thieves. EG as an underdog. Give me that. Team Liquid against FlyQuest. Give me Team Liquid. Golden Guardians against Dignitas. I definitely prefer Dignitas, especially coming off of a loss against Evil Geniuses. I don't know what the Golden Guardians versus FlyQuest game is going to look like. Golden Guardians and Dignitas is actually going to be a good matchup. Could be pretty explosive and good for DraftKings because I could see them being contentious in the early game. And that's basically it. So like I said yesterday, and I know I'm kind of just repeating myself at this point, I do have some videos that I want to make when the playoff picture is more clear. Going a little deeper into the different team styles and thinking about how that might play out in the playoffs. Fun combination of words. But we're like at that point where I think a lot of the times you know what side I'm going to be on. So unless I have like some other kind of segment, I think I just want to keep the video kind of fast. I'm going to make those bets in the LCS tomorrow. Probably put together some kind of parlay for fun. But otherwise, thanks for watching. And I'll talk to you later.